So let's talk more about the fear of being seen. I know I made a video on this last week, but it's been on my mind and it's something that I'm currently working through. So this is kind of like a part two, but whether or not you saw that first video or not, this is something a lot of us need to hear. Now, I don't just mean being seen in the literal sense, because yeah, obviously people see you when you're out in public, but I'm talking about the deeper kind of being seen. The kind where people see you for who you really are, where you're showing up fully, taking up space, speaking your truth. And honestly, for a lot of my life, that terrified me. See, I think the fear of being seen is a type of spiritual warfare. And I know that sounds dramatic, but stick with me for a second here, because I'm serious about this. See, the enemy, whatever you call it, the devil, fear, ego, or just negative energy, they want you small. They want you hidden. They want your light dimmed. That's why life throws so many trials and tribulations to people who are meant to make an impact. It's like the more you're meant to shine, the more resistance you feel when you step into that light. But here's the thing, you keep rising anyway. You keep shining anyway. Even when it's scary, even when it's uncomfortable. So lately I've been diving deeper into why I have the fear of being seen for so long. And it honestly boils down to this simple truth. It felt safer to hide. Safer to avoid confrontation. Safer to avoid judgment. Safer to stay quiet and unnoticed. See, I felt safer not having friends. I felt safer not having a boss to tell me what to do. I felt safer using self-checkout at the grocery store or ordering everything online just so I didn't have to interact with people. And I'm being dead serious. There was a time where I couldn't even call to order a pizza. And even when I did have to go pick it up, I would replay that conversation in my head a million times over. Like, did I sound rude? Did they think I was awkward? Did I say something weird? And when I really sat with this and tried to figure out where this all started, I realized it actually goes way back to middle school. Back when all of the elementary schools combined into one school, and suddenly there were hundreds of new kids that I'd never met. And I remember specifically one day in class, there was one of those most popular or the class clown or best dressed lists on the whiteboard. And somebody that I didn't know yet that had a similar name to mine, just spelled a little differently, was nominated for the best dressed. And I thought at first that it was me. See, at that time I was starting to experiment with my style, wearing different clothes, taking inspiration from my older sister. So when I saw my name up there, for a second I thought, oh wow, people do notice me. But then a classmate corrected me and was like, no, they're not talking about you. That's not you. Immediately my brain spiraled. Embarrassment, shame, probably even jealousy. But it's like something in my mind clicked that day. So then that led me to something else when I was unpacking all of this. Growing up, whenever I talked about myself, I would get told that I was being selfish. Like if I shared a story or I said, oh, I went through something like that too, it wasn't seen as connecting. It was seen as making it all about me. But that's how I've always communicated, by relating, by giving examples of how I've felt or gone through the same thing. And certain people just never saw it that way. So eventually I learned, okay, just shut up, don't share, don't talk about yourself, don't take up space. And that carried into high school and adulthood. It taught me how to dim my light, to stay quiet. But now I'm realizing that that wasn't truth, that was trauma. And from those moments on, I started playing small. I started hiding. I didn't want to be in the spotlight. I didn't want to be noticed. But deep down, I wanted to be seen. That's the real root of it. It wasn't that I didn't want to be seen. It was that I was scared of being negatively seen. See, if somebody's judging me positively, there's no fear. Maybe a little bashfulness, sure. But I can handle that. But if somebody's judging me negatively, if somebody misunderstands me or thinks I'm cringy or they talk behind my back, that's the stuff that kept me hiding. And let's be real. If you're constantly rejecting compliments, staying away from people, or even isolating yourself, how do you expect to grow? How do you expect to make friends, find opportunities, make an impact? Like, at some point, you have to admit your own role in it. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So I'm realizing that the fear of being seen is one of the sneakiest ways that the enemy keeps us small. Because the quieter you stay, the less you create, the less you shine, the less you change the world. And of course the enemy wants that. Of course they're happy feeding us fear and doubt. It's what keeps us stuck. It keeps us overthinking. It keeps us in the shadows, thinking that we're safe. But playing small isn't safe. It's just comfortable. And there's the difference. So I'm done playing small. I'm done living my life like it's a punishment for wanting to be seen. Because it's not. The truth is, some of us were meant to shine. Some of us were meant to be seen, meant to be heard, and on a deeper level. And the reason you felt so much resistance, it's because the enemy knows how powerful you actually are when you fully step into yourself. And what I've realized now in my adulthood, it's like the enemy tries to get even sneakier with it. Because when they realize that you're not listening to the outside noise anymore, they start using the people closest to you, family, friends, the ones whose opinions you actually care about, the people that you take advice from, the people that you trust. That's who the enemy will use as a last resort to stop you from doing what you're meant to do. And they do it subtly. They feed you little bits of fear, little seeds of doubt. And sometimes they don't even realize that they're doing it, but the enemy knows exactly what they're doing. Because if the enemy can get them to discourage you, they know that that hits different. But what helps me most, and what I remind myself all the time, is this. I was the chosen one. I was chosen to break cycles, to achieve these dreams. And part of that means being seen, creating, speaking up. So no matter how hard they try to plant those seeds of doubt and fear in me, I'm not letting it happen. I will not be silenced, and I will not be stopped. Not by fear, not by the enemy, not by anybody else's opinions, no matter how close they are to me. So yeah, not today, devil, I'm on another level. And that's from a Torrian song, so I can't take credit for that one. If you're into music like I am, I will put that song link in the description. But if you're watching this right now, and you feel like you felt this too, this fear of being seen, I want you to know you're not alone. But you don't have to live in that fear anymore. You can choose to rise. You can choose to take up space. You can choose to let yourself be loved and celebrated, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Because hiding might feel safer, but that's not what you were made for. So let's stop dimming our light. Stop letting fear win. Let's be seen. Because somebody out there needs to see you, exactly as you are. And if you needed that today, I'm so glad it found you. If this video resonated with you, please hit the like button. And if you're ready for more videos like this, please subscribe. And until next time, remember to stay kind to yourself. I love you, and I'm so proud of you. I'll see you in the next one.